Welcome to Lunch with Legacy Leaders, a weekly talk show with local and national thought leaders on issues impacting the Black community. Now introducing our host, Miss Ann Marie Sorrell.
Good afternoon and welcome to Lunch with Legacy Leaders. I am your host, Ann Marie Sorrell, President and CEO of the Mosaic Group. Thank you so much for taking your time this afternoon to be with us. Before we get started with our broadcast, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Broward Health and the Florida Lottery, for making this broadcast possible. Today we have another very special guest. So many people know him throughout South Florida for his advocacy work, and we're going to actually have him wear two hats today. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Ruban Roberts, who's the president of the NWACP Miami-Dade branch and the president of RER Consulting.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. How are you this afternoon?
I am well. How are you?
Oh, no complaints. I'm on the other side of the dirt.
Well, you're looking fabulous as always.
Thank you. You look quite dapper yourself. So I want to just do a formal introduction with your bio for those who may not know you, which I don't know who does not know you, Ruban, but for those who may not, we'll properly introduce you to our audience.
Okay.
So, Ruban Roberts is CEO and founder of RER Consulting Enterprise, LLC, a strategic planning, evaluation management, program development, and training firm. He's a certified Myers-Briggs type indicator, facilitator, and brief strategic family therapy master trainer, and clinician with over 18 years of experience in his role with the University of Miami Brief Strategic Family Therapy Institute. He has extensive knowledge of research design, managing evidence-based model programs, and developing qualitative instruments. Mr. Roberts also worked on the Clinical Trials Network, CTN, Florida Node, a national study funded by the National Institute of Drug Abuse to research specific evidence-based model programs nationally. Mr. Roberts generously contributes his time and resources to many governmental and nonprofit organizations. He currently serves as the president of Miami-Dade branch of NWACP and is an appointee to the following boards, which I won't name all of them. So I'll just say you're an appointee to numerous boards throughout Miami-Dade County and the state of Florida by past and current governors. Mr. Roberts has also served on the Miami-Dade County Addiction Services Board, the Region 5 Health Equity Council, appointed by the Department of Health and Human Services, DHHS, as well as serving on the Disproportionate Minority Contract Task Force, appointed by the Secretary of Juvenile Justice. And you matriculated at Barry University in Miami Shores, Florida, earning your master's degree in social work and business administration. So welcome again.
You can breathe now. I know that was a lot.
It was a lot. So before I dive into your consulting work, because I think just with the times that we're in, I want to just touch on your advocacy in the community and your role with the NWACP and just why that's so important right now.
Well, I'm proud to say that I'm the branch president of the Miami-Dade branch of the oldest and boldest civil rights organization, over 111 years old this year. And we've been very significant in several milestones when it comes to the Black community, but America in general, because I don't see us separate and apart from the United States. I think that we're a part of it. So we're still relevant. We're still significant. We do a lot of work around civic engagement, making sure that folks' votes are counted. We do a lot of work around social justice, making sure we deal with police brutality. We do a lot of work around economic development to make sure that there's equity and inclusion on grant and governmental contracts. So we do a lot of work. We work with youth. We work with the elderly. We deal with healthcare issues. And so we're any issue that is definitely related to our community, we're serving them. And we do it well at the Miami-Dade branch. So one of the things I want to share with you all, that you should be a part of some organization that's doing work in the community. I encourage you to join the NAACP, wherever you are located. If you're located in Dade County, join the Miami-Dade branch of the NAACP. If you're located down south, there's a South Dade branch. We have two branches in Miami. So one of the things I would encourage you to do so that we can go ahead and mobilize. It's one thing to sit back and talk about what's going on. It's another thing to go and be proactive and make some things happen. When I pick up that phone and I call the mayor or the police chief or anything like that, they respond. Not because of Ruben Roberts, because of those 5 powerful letters, NAACP. So if you're interested, if you're wanting to see change happen in your community, become a part of an organization that's going to help make that change.
And let me ask a question on that. With NAACP being the oldest civil rights organization, but then we have new movements and organizations such as Black Lives Matters. How does it, I don't want to say conflict, does it compete? How do they work in the same space?
There's enough room out there for multiple organizations or entities. And you have to understand that everybody doesn't share the same, they don't have the same initiatives. So we are purely social justice. We're going to be working on social justice issues. Some folks may do social justice and other issues, but we have enough space to work together, and we work collaboratively together with other organizations like the Urban League. We, and other local organizations that are out here doing this great work as well. Florida New Majority, that sort of thing. So I don't see it as, it's not a competition. It's about what we can do to pool our resources to make sure that we can have our voices heard. Listen, what you see in the protest today, to quote Martin Luther King, protest is the voice for the unheard. People have gone so many years without being seen, without being heard, without being understood, without being respected. And so we need those people to be the intermediary, those organizations to be the intermediary for us, so that we can be seen, that we can be heard, that our voices can be heard, and we can be respected. And most importantly, so that we can vote and make sure that our voices are heard. So we can, today is the last day of the census. We want you to make sure that you fill out the census too, if you haven't done that by now. We need to make sure that folks understand and recognize us, our citizens' rights. We have the rights as everyone else has, and we need to exercise our rights. We need to utilize whatever rights that we have to our advantage. And so as far as working and collaborating with others or doing similar work, we're all game for that, and we welcome that. We want to make sure that we have more people active and activated than not activated.
Okay, and I just have another question. Well, it's 2-part. So first part is, how engaged are youth and young people in NAACP, or is there like how can I say this? Or do they see it as just, this is my grandparents' organization? Like, do you see a surge or engagement of younger people in NAACP?
So I must say that our youth council is a very active youth council here in Miami-Dade County, led by Ebony Johnson. I have taken the youth up to Tallahassee 2 years in a row to lobby for issues around social justice and racial insensitivity. We partnered with the Jewish American Federation on our last trip. So we're definitely very active. We also, on the national level, they have an initiative called Next Gen. So they're actively recruiting young, up and coming Black activists to be a part of Next Gen. We have several members of the Next Gen program that's a part of the Miami-Dade branch as well. So yes, there's a movement afoot to make sure that we engage young people, because we need to hear their voices. We need to understand their points of view so that we can advocate for them as well. So yeah, I think that the organization as a whole is moving in that vein to make sure that we have and begin to engage a younger audience as well to become NAACP members. And it's been receptive.
Awesome. That's good to know. And lastly, on the NAACP, before we get into your consulting firm, we're 2.5 weeks away from elections. And for people in our community, particularly, who says, nothing's changed, my vote really doesn't matter because neither party is representative of what my needs are. Why are we focused on voting instead of building wealth? What do you say to that type of that conversation? How do you address that?
I want to say something. I use an old quote that a family member of mine used to say: "Nothing beats a failure but a try. If you don't try, you can't win. If you don't fight, you can't win." And so, blood has been shed. Folks have put their life on the line here in Florida. We have Harry and Harriet T. Moore. I want you to research them. 2 great NAACPers who lost their lives. Their home was bombed on their anniversary on Christmas Day because they did such great work at registering people to vote and in advocating for rights. They were 2 educators. And the list goes on and on. John Lewis, who was a part of the march with the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Those folks have put their lives on the line for us to have this right. We need to utilize our right. We need to utilize this right, this privilege that we have to go ahead and exercise our vote. This is a means of protest. If you feel that Black Lives Matter and you don't vote, then obviously you don't feel that Black Lives Matter. Because the moment that we don't use our rights to vote, then we give those who want to suppress us, those who want to keep us marginalized, we give them every opportunity to keep those things happening. When we go out and vote in numbers, when we make our voices heard, when we are being seen through our vote, then things change. Then and only then things will change. People respect you when you react. They have no regard for you at all if you do nothing. So I'm going to say it again. When we vote, we win. And if you want to win, then you need to be voting. You need to be going out early and voting. I encourage all people who are filling out absentee ballots to turn in your absentee ballots at an early voting precinct. Don't put them in the mail. I encourage all voters who are not filling out absentee ballots to go and vote early. Go out there and vote like never before. You saw what happened in Tennessee. You saw what happened in Atlanta. I mean, I think they had over 1 million voters voting on the first day of early voting. I'm hoping that we'll do the same here in South Florida.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. And early voting does kick off on Monday, October 19th through November 1st. So everyone has time to get prepared and do what they need to do to join the lines to early vote starting on Monday. So let's switch gears a little bit. RER Consulting. It seems like you do a lot of very, very important work, but I'm super excited about your newest program, which is so needed on so many levels in our community, especially now as everyone's dealing with the impacts of COVID and having to, make different shifts in their lives. So you've developed a mental health and wellness program. Tell us about it.
So the COVID-19 mental health and wellness program is a program that was funded by Miami-Dade County through their COVID relief funds. And so this program is meant to address some of the concerns about folks who are dealing with stressors, anxiety, depression during COVID. Think about your family members. For those of us who have family members, if you're living in a household where you have multi-generational family members, and when you go out, you're concerned about bringing something back that can, affect one of your family members' health. It's very stressful. It may cause some anxiety. Most of us are frontline workers. We work in jobs where we have high exposure to the COVID-19 virus, and some of the jobs that we're working on don't provide, the proper PPEs. So one of the things that we deal with is that these stresses about that. Before schools opened back up, you had parents who wanted to go to work, but they didn't have anyone available to watch their children and supervise their children. So all of these stresses are happening on a regular basis. And so what the COVID-19 program does is it gives you an opportunity to go and take a brief questionnaire to see where you are. You'll get a scorecard when it's completed. So let me walk you through. You go to the website. Fill out the survey. The website is mymentalhealthmiami.com. You fill out the questionnaire. Once you complete the questionnaire is about 12 minutes long. About the time it takes you to brush your teeth. You fill out the survey. You get a scorecard. The scorecard will tell you where you are in 3 categories: where you are in terms of your stress levels, where you are in terms of your feeling depressed, where you are in terms of your anxiety levels. Most of us don't even really pay attention to it. And in the Black community in particular, there's a high stigma when you talk about mental health. And I want you to understand, as a family therapist, as a clinician, every human being on the face of this earth has something that's diagnosable about them. You can go to the DSM-5 and you'll find, oh, wow, I had this characteristic, or I had that trait. So it shouldn't be stigmatized. What we need to do is really find a way to create that path to wellness. And so this is what that scorecard will do. It will give you the information in terms of where your score is. And I encourage you all to go and take the question, do the questionnaire. And then it gives you contact information where you can contact one of our partners at New Horizons. They will, their community care, their care coordination team. The care coordination team number is 786-433-8502. You call them, they'll take some additional information from you, and then they'll provide you with resources, not just for mental health, but you may need some resources about rental assistance or housing assistance. You may need some resources about employment opportunities. You may need resources about just where to get food or where to get PPE, supplies, and that sort of thing. You'll find that information on our resource page on our website, and you'll also get that assistance and get direct referrals from the care coordination team. So once you go through those steps, and you get the referrals to the services that you need, or if you need additional counseling services, the New Horizons will be able to provide those services for you, or you can go to one of our partners that they can refer you to that's nearby. This is for Miami-Dade residents only, 18 years old and up. And then we have our third partner, which is the Berry University, that will be giving educational modules on how to cope with COVID. They'll give you information about COVID, about current stats, things to look out for, and then it'll also give you, they'll give you some skills and tools that you can use to really cope with some of the stresses that's COVID related. That's going to be a weekly series that you'll see on social media, and you're also starting next week. And then you'll also have access to some of the footage on our website if you've missed one of the weekly programs.
Okay, wow. So that sounds like a pretty comprehensive approach. What prompted you to develop or
well, in the early
develop
stages
this program?
In the early stages of COVID, I talked to folks, and I'm getting, as a president of the NWACP, we get a lot of calls. And I noticed that a lot of folks were, dealing with, of course, I did not diagnose them, but based on the conversations I was having, a lot of folks were dealing with anxiety. A lot of folks were dealing with depression. A lot of folks were just stressed out in general because no one knows what tomorrow holds. No one knows what's going to happen. And so there's so much uncertainty. And I said, well, we really need to make sure that we can provide something for these folks who are dealing with or having these feelings and emotions. And if you're feeling any of those things, I encourage you to go to mymentalhealthmiami.com and really take the questionnaire so we can give you some guidance and help. But as a result of that, I said, my friend said, well, you know what? We need to create a program to really help folks through this time, give them some strategies and whatnot. And so my friend and I got together and we started working on putting the program together. We submitted the proposal to the county. They accepted it. And here we are today.
Now, is there a cost to anyone to participate? I mean, I know the survey is free, but if they need any, like when they go to your partners, is there a fee for them for any services or resources?
So the initial consulting is free as well, and the modules are free. So your initial consult will be free from mental health specialists at New Horizons. When we refer you out to other entities, we can't tell you what they will charge, but we will not send you out to folks that are going to try to rob you. If you don't have any insurance, I know that at New Horizons, you can get treated on a sliding scale fee for something as minimal as $25 for those of you who don't have insurance. But and a lot of our partners are in the same way. But the services in terms of just really getting your scorecard, finding out where you are, and then doing the initial consult and the workshop and seminars that you can tune into, those are all free.
And how long has the program been going, and what has been the response so far to the program?
So we've had some favorable response. We just started. We rolled out on Monday. It's a very short-term program because these are the CARES Act dollars, and the CARES Act dollars, their funds are to be expended by December 30th. So we have a very short window. There may be room for expansion, but right now that's the timeline that we have. But so far we had, in terms of the participation, we've had good numbers in terms of participation, and we're looking forward to see that the numbers continue to grow. And, we want to make sure that people are getting their needs met. So we have also a satisfaction survey that you can fill out as well, to let us know if the referrals that we gave you were helpful, if you were able to make sure that you made contact to the referral agencies that we connected you with. So it's definitely been in our initial, this is the day 4, definitely been a very positive response from all that have participated thus far.
Okay, that sounds really good. Very short window for sure.
Yes.
So, with it being such a short window, are you open to other partners becoming a part of this collaboration? And if so, how does that work?
Yeah, we're looking for other partners who who have COVID-related resources. We like for you to make sure that you reach out to us through our Miami Mental Health website, and you can go in the info section there. So if you are a mental health provider, if you are providing any services or have any resources available related to COVID, you can partner with us. Just reach out to us, go to the website, fill out the info page. We'll get back with you. And then what we'll do is we'll include your logo and your resources to our page. And because of the amount of foot traffic that we have, it'll help you get the exposure that you need to assist folks with some of the services that you're providing. So we welcome that. We want to also expand into other cities. So I definitely would love to get into your area, West Palm Beach. Would love to provide this program in Broward County, as well. Right now, we're only limited to Miami-Dade County, but we know folks need this all over. And we're not just limited to Florida. We can expand beyond the state of Florida. But we're looking to make sure that we can provide this service to as many people as possible. Listen, I got a person that I spoke to the other day, and this is how serious this thing is. Okay. This person has a company that they had some attrition, and they lost 2 key workers that were affected by COVID or had some medical emergencies. The positions pay anywhere to $40,000, $50,000 a year. Mm-hmm. She told me, she says, Ruben, prior to COVID, if I had advertised these 2 positions, I would get 50 to 60 applicants a week. She says, I'm only getting like 5 or 6 applicants a week. And then when I go, they had a very rigorous process for interviewing. When they interview, they have to go through 3 interviews. If the folks who are involved went through all 3 interviews, she was doing great. But she had so much attrition, so many people dropped out. And I'm saying, well, if you need a job, why would you drop out? Why aren't people applying for these jobs? You look at the unemployment numbers, and I'm not hearing this just from one employer. So I would venture to say that there are a couple of reasons, but one I think that has an impact is definitely folks who are really reticent about going back into the workforce for whatever reasons that they have. Their anxiety levels are high. They may feel depressed. They just can't get up and move. Think about it. If you have someone that you know that really stays in the house dark, windows, keep the curtains drawn, or if you see someone that really responds to you in a very heightened manner over something that's very simple. It's not just this person responding to you. They're responding to the feelings that they have because of this COVID situation. And so these are the reasons why we need to make sure we check on our mental health and make sure that we get the resources available to us so that we can get that, move to that path, of wellness. It's so very important. It's vitally important, especially for our community, because prior to COVID, we already had high stress levels.
Yeah.
We already dealt with issues. We have to deal with so many issues that so many others don't have to deal with on a regular basis. Now you compound that with putting in a pandemic in your world. And if you haven't been able to work and you're wondering how your kids are going to, be fed, if you're wondering how your bills are going to be paid, think about that. Think about the amount of stress and anxiety that causes. If you had a business, you were doing well and it was booming. People think that people that owns businesses that they're doing well. Some businesses, a lot of Black businesses are failing now because of the shutdowns, because of just the effects of COVID. That has to do something to your mental psyche. And so we encourage you to make sure that you get the help that you need. Domestic violence numbers are up. Substance use is up. You see so many of these attributes that are affecting our community that are on the rise as a result of COVID. And this is why we have this mental health and wellness program out here, so we can meet the needs of the folks that are dealing with some of these issues.
No, that is wonderful. I think my biggest concern is the short period of time that it's available and the fact that, COVID is not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
So we're going to be doing our best. We're going to be doing our best to expand. We're going to be doing our best to make sure that if there are opportunities to definitely lengthen the contract, we do that, and then go into other areas. Like I said, we're definitely our neighbors, Broward and West Palm Beach. We're ready to go in there and provide these services as well, and make sure that folks get the services that they need. We're very committed to this process. This is about helping people. This is about really making sure that our folks are getting the attention that they need. Because if it's left unattended, imagine the possibilities. I don't even want to venture to say what those possibilities are, but if left unattended, I think that we can have some serious consequences. And like I shared with you earlier, especially at the moratorium, the rent moratorium and the housing, the mortgage moratorium is lifted. When folks have to come due with $15,000 to get caught up or be evicted, it's going to be, stress levels are going to go through the roof. So if you're in those situations, we strongly advise you to contact us now prior to that and see what we can do to help out, refer you to the proper resources in Miami-Dade County, and make sure that we can give you all the assistance that you need prior to, something like that happening.
No, I agree. And just one last question about the funding. If to extend it, is that going to be dependent on like a second stimulus, or is it possible that the county may put some funding that's not a part of the CARES Act? Because I know counties and city governments are struggling to meet their budget requirements because of what they've had to expend during the pandemic. Well, that we're still in, but at the onset of it, what they had to expend. So is the continuance and expansion of this program, does it depend on another stimulus?
So I'm not sure if you're aware, but all of the CARES Act funds that were sent to the state and funneled down to the local districts, have not come to the local districts. You still have funds that are due to come to these local districts that the state has. I think that what they're doing is waiting to see how the current funds are expended. And if they are expended, then they'll release some of those additional funds. So the funding has already been sent to the state.
Okay.
And so there are additional funding, and then there are more to come, I'm sure, because a lot of these municipalities are definitely going to need additional assistance in terms of, meeting their budgets because of, the tax rolls not being paid on time and that sort of thing. But there's so many resources that the community is going to need. Folks are definitely going to need more food sharing programs. They're going to need more social service programs and mental health programs. They're going to need more healthcare. Think about those folks. You talk about stress levels. Think about if you worked on a job and your job paid your medical insurance and you have a pre-existing condition and your medication is covered through your insurance. Think about those people who are in a position right now who they've been laid off or furloughed or just, fired. And they still have those medical needs and concerns. They may not qualify for any public assistance. If you got medication that costs you, if you pay out of pocket, upwards of $1,000 or more, how do you survive? You have to make a decision about, I have to cut these corners here in order for me to get the medication. And then you can't, and a lot of folks can't even take the medication as prescribed because, they have such limited resources. There's so many things that really, again, exacerbate the stresses that folks are going to be feeling, contribute to depression, contribute to anxiety and that sort of thing. And this is why we definitely want to make sure that all of the local municipalities are really addressing the mental health concerns of their constituents.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything else number one, tell us the website again. And then is there anything else you want to share with our listeners about the program or about NWACP? Of course, let us know the website for get involved with NWACP as well.
All right. So you can go to, for this program, you can go to www.mymentalhealthmiami.com. Go there. You'll see the website. Take the questionnaire. If you need resources, you can go on the website to see what resources we have available to you. If you need additional information or you need to follow up, make sure you call the care coordination team. And that number is 786-433-8502. And then in the case of a non-emergency, but if you're not feeling your best and you really feel like there's someone you need to talk to and it's urgent, we have a hotline number for you to call after hours. And that hotline number is 786-476-7908. So that's something that we want to do. Remember that we want to make sure that you are on your path to wellness, and we're doing our best to make sure that you're informed. Be sure to tune in to our weekly module sessions on how to cope with COVID. That will be facilitated by Barry University, my alma mater, professors there. So we want to make sure that you tune into those places as well. As far as the NAACP is concerned.
1 second, Ruben. Give me the hotline again. 786.
The hotline number is 786-476-7908.
Okay, got it.
Got it?
Yes.
As far
I
as
wanted to make sure it's in the chat.
So as far as the NAACP is concerned, all you have to do is Google Miami-Dade branch of the NAACP. You'll get all of our social media, our websites, and that sort of thing. You can reach us there. If you have a complaint, if you have a complaint about your civil rights being violated, you dial 1-877-NAACP-09. Dial 1-877-NAACP-09. That, and you follow the prompts when you call, and someone will respond to you within 24 hours.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. Just stay with me for 1 quick second. We're going to do a couple of announcements. But thank you so much, Ruben, for giving us this information, these very important resources that are out there for Miami-Dade County residents. and for just also reminding us about the important work that the NWACP continues to do, not only in Miami-Dade County, but around the country. And thank you for serving and being an advocate that you are in our community.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. And thank you for having me today.
No problem. So everyone, please make sure you share this video. Next week, we will have another guest from Miami-Dade County, Miami-Dade County Commissioner Daniela Levine Cava. We also, if you have not tuned in yet, make sure on Wednesdays at 7, you tune in to MIA Soul, where you can get the latest updates on fashion, music, food, relationships, and all things pop culture with host Nikki Soul and several other local hosts, local celebrity hosts. So you want to make sure you tune into that every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And our next issue of Legacy Magazine, both Legacy South Florida and Legacy MIA or Legacy Miami, will be published on October 8th. And you can pick your copy up in the Miami Herald or the Sun Sentinel or access it at miamediagroup.com. So please make sure you check out the website for all upcoming events as well as upcoming issues. And tune in again with us next Thursday at noon.